Hello Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So Sag, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So with all that being said, Sagittarius, let's get started. All right, Sag, in regards to how you're currently viewing this relationship. So we do have the 10 of Wands, we do have the Chariot, and then we also have the 7 of Wands. Okay. This to me just kind of feels like an energy of you pushing yourself to do something. What? I don't know. But I do want to break this down a little bit more. Tell me more about the Chariot. Okay. So we have the Judgment card. We got the 3 of Pentacles. And then we also have the Hangman. The bottom of the deck, we do have the Ace of Swords. You know, as far as like this whole you pushing yourself to go off and do something, I do feel like it has a lot to do with love and giving love another chance. I feel like for a while you've been very much so against, you know, the idea of, you know, getting to know someone and building towards a life with someone. But I feel like that does have a lot to do with just past experiences, honestly, that you've had, you know, with other people that cause you to, you know, fall into this energy of, I just don't even want to bother at this point when it comes down to love. But it's interesting because, Sag, because I do see you meeting someone out of nowhere. I do see you meeting someone out of nowhere. Now, granted, when you do meet this person, you're still going to be in this energy of like anti-love, right? Where you don't want anything to do with it. At this point, dude, you look at love as like a complete and utter waste of time, honey. But I do see you pushing yourself to just go on a date with this person. You know, I do see you pushing yourself to like just be open and receptive to this. You know, you're kind of harnessing the energy of, you know what? I highly doubt this is going to fucking go anywhere. But you know what? I'm going to go on the date anyways. You know what I mean? Because fuck it. What else do I have to do? You know what I mean? I'm not getting any sort of thrill or excitement coming from you whatsoever, which I get it. I think it does have a lot to do with, you know, just past experiences, honestly, that you've had with many, you know, people in the past. But unfortunately, yes, you are harnessing the energy of like, you know what? I'm just going to get up. I'm just going to get dressed. I'm just going to go on this fucking date. Highly doubt it's going to work out. But you know what? I'm just going to fucking do it. I'm just going to do it because, like, fuck it. What up? You know, why not? You know, it just has that type of feel. It just has that type of feel to it. Okay, let's look at this person, Sag. How does Sagittarius currently view this relationship? Let's see what's going on. Okay. So this person's at this stage, right, in their life where they're looking for somebody, you know, that, yeah, this person's looking for someone that they could build and establish, you know, a life with. This person's definitely looking for something serious, is basically what I'm gathering, okay? Now, when this person does meet you and they get to know you, they're going to find themselves wanting to build and establish a life with you. Another thing too, Sag, I don't feel like it's going to take them too long to realize that you are the person that they want to go off and manifest and create a life with, okay? So this person more than likely is going to be rushing things within this dynamic that they share with you. I am definitely getting that strongly, okay? So you might find yourself going on a few dates with this person, and then boom, you know, they're already telling you that they want to be with you and that they want, you know, the two of you to build towards a relationship with one another. Because this one over here will definitely move. They definitely will move fast is basically what I'm getting. How does Sagittarius currently feel? I like it. I like it. The Ace of Pentacles is attached to the 10 of Pentacles, so that's kind of telling me that the feeling will essentially be mutual, okay? I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Like, even though you're fucking dragging your fucking feet to this damn date, okay? And we get it why, you know, you are. I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think that you're going to find yourself resonating with this person and meshing, you know, very, very well with this person. I think that you're going to find yourself seeing a lot of potential between you and this person as well. You're going to find yourself feeling very drawn to them and, you know, their energy. I'm also getting that as well. And you're going to find yourself, you know, definitely feeling like, okay, like this might be, you know, the person that, you know, I end up building and establishing a life with. And I do feel like that's exactly what's going to end up happening here between you and this person. But just like this person, because the thing is that this one over here is the one that's essentially moving fast here. It's not you. It is definitely them. I just kind of feel like in the end, you're going to tag along for the ride, honey. It's basically what I'm getting. So when this person does pop the question, whether it's like, you know, the third date in, you know, I mean, regardless of when they decide to do it, I feel like they're going to do it very soon though. So it's not going to take them several dates or anything like that to realize you are the one. I think that they're just going to be able to realize this very, very quickly. However, even though, yes, technically speaking, they're the one that is essentially rushing things here between the two of you, I do see you tagging along for the ride. How does a person currently feel? Okay. We have the Two of Swords. Okay. They're very, very infatuated with you. I'm getting that. They're very, very infatuated. Yeah, they're very, very infatuated with you. I do want to look at the Two of Swords. That's really sticking out to me like a sore thumb, but they're very, very infatuated with you. I'm also getting like a very proud energy coming from this person. Like they're very, how do I put this? How do I put this into words? Yeah, they're just very proud that they were able to like capture somebody like you is basically what I'm getting. You know, I feel like this person does view you as somebody, you know, who's very, very attractive, you know, somebody who has a lot of good qualities to them. I just feel like this person's just, you know, fucking proud. It's like they feel like they're the man because they were able to capture someone like you, or they feel like they're like the woman because they were able to capture someone like you. It's like this person has like a fucking extra pep in their step now because they were able to bag somebody like you is basically what I'm getting. Okay. Tell me more about the Two of Swords. We have the King of Wands. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands, and then we also have the Moon. Yeah, this person did not anticipate or expect to meet someone that they mesh so well with like they do with you. There's a huge, huge, huge possibility that you're connecting with your twin flame. So this person could very well be your twin. That's definitely a possibility. But yeah, they just weren't anticipating or expecting, honestly, to meet someone like you. And I'm sure, you know, you feel the exact same way about this person. You know, maybe you weren't anticipating or expecting to meet someone like them. You know, that's definitely a possibility, but they just did not see this coming. What actions? And I don't feel like you did either. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay, so we have the Judgment card, geez, okay? We have the Judgment card, we have the Lovers, and then we also have the Six of Cups. This relationship between the two of you will definitely grow at a very, very rapid pace. I can't emphasize this enough. Things are going to move very, very quickly here, you know, between you and this person. I am definitely getting that, okay? Now, with all of that being said, all right, I'm not really worried and concerned about this whatsoever, but I will say this, because things are moving so quickly here between you and this person, and you're not really taking that proper time to like really, really get to know this person, I think that you're going to find yourself discovering things that you don't necessarily like about them. That's a given. It is what it is. It doesn't matter who you end up with, where you go, you're going to end up meeting somebody who's going to have something that you don't freaking like about them. It's kind of like the epitome of building a life with somebody who has like a good 95% of what you truly want and desire within a person, and then you later on down the line discovering 5% of them that you don't necessarily like, okay? Do I think that it's going to be like a deal breaker or anything like that? No, I don't think it's going to be a deal breaker. Are you going to want to deal with that 5% of this person that you don't necessarily like? Fuck no. But are you still going to tolerate them and deal with them and continue to build with them? Yeah, absolutely. But this person, you know, they do have certain things that you're going to discover about them that you're not necessarily going to like, but it won't be a deal breaker. It will not be a deal breaker, okay? It definitely will not be. It's basically what I'm getting. So I don't know, maybe you guys end up getting a place together or something like that. And this person, instead of throwing their freaking dirty clothes in the freaking hamper, they're throwing it right next to the hamper. That might dry hump your last nerve. You may not like it, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, things like that. Or maybe this person's not the best, you know, when it comes down to communication. You may not like that about this person, but you're going to be like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm going to just continue to just rock this out and see this through, you know, whatever that you end up discovering about this person, it will not be a deal breaker. I cannot emphasize that enough. What actions? Okay. So we have, interesting, because we did get the King of Pentacles, you know, for you, but, and we're getting the Queen of Pentacles for them, regardless of everybody's gender involved. You know, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Nothing's gender specific, so don't get caught up in the gender. Here's the thing though, okay? And this has a lot to do with the simple fact that things are moving at a very rapid pace between the two of you, okay? So you're basically turning around and building a life with somebody that you don't really know like that. And they don't really know you like that. It is what it is, right? And I think that, you know, once time passes and you guys start to really get to know one another, I think that that's when you guys are going to start to discover things about one another that you guys didn't know about one another and that you guys don't necessarily like about one another. Now, here's the difference between you and this person. Same applies, right? It's like there's 95% of you that this person truly does love, admire, appreciate, and value. However, there's just that 5% of you that this person just simply does not freaking like, okay? Now, I think that for them, what's going to end up happening is that they're going to hyper focus on the 5%. They're going to hyper focus on it so much to the point where they're going to find themselves not even thinking about the 95% of you that they actually do like. And that's going to create a lot of fights, arguments, and disagreements, okay? I hate to say it, but it is going to create a lot of fights and disagreements between the two of you because they're going to find themselves hyper-focusing on the 5% of you that they don't necessarily like. So maybe you're not the best, you know, at communicating with them. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe you're doing something else that this person doesn't necessarily like or want to like deal with and or tolerate, you know what I mean? Due to them hyper-focusing on the 5% of you that they don't necessarily like, it's going to create warfare. I will say that within this dynamic between the two of you. See, you could overlook the 5%. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, I don't like the fact that they throw their dirty clothes right next to the hamper, but fuck it. It is what it is. They still got 95% of what I truly want and desire. You know what I mean? Or I don't like the fact that they, you know, communicate like this or communicate like that, but you know, whatever, it is what it is because, you know, they got 95% of what I truly want and desire. Them, they're not going to have that type of mentality. You know, they're going to be more focused on, I just hate the fact that Sag is like this, and I hate the fact that Sag is like that, and I hate this, and I hate that, and I just don't want to deal with this, and it's just like, this sucks. I don't even know why I'm with them. Like, you know what I mean? They're not going to find themselves thinking about the 95% of you that they actually do love, value, as well as appreciate. You know, I think that eventually they will, you know, but until that day comes, the primary reason why you're going to experience warfare within your relationship with this person is because they're hyper focusing on the 5% of you that they don't necessarily like, that they will want you to essentially change about yourself and things like that. I'm getting like an energy of frustration as well coming from this person. I mean, they do view you as the King of Pentacles, regardless of your gender, like I said. And the King of Pentacles is considered to be the perfect partner card. So I feel like this whole time, right, in their head, like you're like Mr. Perfect. You're like Mrs. Perfect. You know what I mean? And as time goes by and they start to realize, oh shit, like, wait a minute, like they're not actually like this perfect person that I thought they were, because look, they do this, and look, they do that, and look, I don't like this, and look, I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, to the point where they're going to find themselves becoming extremely frustrated because in their head, they're just like, but why can't you just be this perfect person for me? And the reality of the situation is that nobody in this life is perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Okay. You have your flaws just like they have their flaws, just like everybody has their flaws. And like I said, it doesn't matter where you go or who you end up with. You're gonna find somebody that may have a lot that you love and value and appreciate about them, but they're also gonna have a lot of things that you're gonna be like, oh my God, like I just fucking don't want to deal with this person, like because they're like this and because they're like that and they do this and they do that. You know what I mean? And that's just, you know, the reality. You know, so. Do I think that things will eventually get better and they'll start focusing on the 95% of you that they actually truly do love, value, and appreciate? Yes. I just think that it's going to take some time. You know, I just kind of feel like this person, you know, walked into this dynamic between the two of you with the impression of, oh my God, like this person's perfect. Like they don't do anything to bother me. They don't do anything to upset me. Like they're fucking perfect. And then the honeymoon stage goes away and they're just like, but what the fuck? Like, this is really upsetting me. This is really rubbing me the wrong way. I don't like this. I don't like that. And that's all they're going to find themselves ever really thinking about, is all the things they don't like about you. To the point where, you know, they might get a little dramatic with it. You know, they might fall into this energy of, I just don't know if I could do this because, you know, you're like this and you're like that. You know what I mean? Will this person ever leave this dynamic between the two of you because of the 5%, I guess, about you that they don't necessarily like? No, because they will basically be walking away from something that has 95% of what they truly want and desire within, you know, a relationship, within a person. And because you guys are showing up as the King and the Queen of Pentacles, the both of you have a lot of life experience to essentially know that the likelihood of you guys meeting somebody again who has 95% of what you truly want and desire within a person is probably never going to happen again. So am I worried and concerned they're going to leave the relationship because of it? No, I just think that it's going to create a lot of warfare between you and this person for a little while, until this person, you know, is able, you know, to like kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because they're not taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture. They're just hyper focusing on, you know, that 5%, you know what I mean? But if they were to take, you know, a step back and look at the bigger picture, they would see, you know what, you know, Sag, they you know, they have their flaws. They're not perfect, but damn, you know, like they have a lot that I truly want and desire within a person. I'm lucky. Granted, I don't like this, that, and the third about Sag, but you know what? I'm lucky. Like eventually they'll step back and look at the bigger picture. At some point they will. It just kind of looks like they're going to be in this place for a little while where they're going to find themselves hyper focusing on the 5% of you that they don't like. And there's going to be a lot of fights, arguments, you know, there's going to be, you know, them, you know, wanting you to essentially change, wanting you to stop doing this, wanting you to stop doing that, you know, things of that nature. I am getting that. All right. So that is what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated. And I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.